Hey everybody, Dairily here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki, Demon of the Fleeting Blossom. We are on Saito Hajime's route, and we have found out that furies are being made at the castle we were heading towards. So I believe our goal here is to stop Kodo. Oh, and happily we have run into, Harada and Shinpachi. So yay, we've had a little bit of a reunion. Let's hope that we can all successfully complete our mission here. Together! Let's see, you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. His eyes fairly glowed with determination and restrained rage. I felt as if in that moment, his gaze alone would be enough to kill lesser men. At last, it began to fade, and he turned to look at me. Sorry to keep you waiting. We should go. Yes, sir. Yes, honey. I said nothing, and we ran to join Nagakura and Harada on the way to the castle.
Well, there's the gate. Huh, don't seem to be any guards.
That can't be a good sign. Don't let down your guard, though. They're conducting some sort of crazy experiments in the middle of a war, and they don't post a guard. That's beyond weird. It may be a trap. We should move slowly and be careful. We all nodded silently and stepped forward. Well, it's probably because the grounds are crawling with furies and it doesn't matter if somebody breaks in or not. The explosion of a gunshot shattered the cool night air. We crouched down silently in an attempt to hide.
Come on, I know you're there. Don't play around like that, I'm real excited to fight you guys.
That voice. I knew it was Shiranui. I guessed the right voice right away. Thank goodness, I don't have to reread that.
You might as well come out. I can practically smell you.
Standing in front of the gate was the demon Kyo Shiranui.
You.
Do you understand what they're doing in there?
I get the gist of it, but I'm not interested in whatever Kazuma and old Kodo are cooking up. What I am interested in is getting the chance to fight you guys. It just seemed like such a waste to throw away an opportunity like this.
He flashed a toothy grin and hefted his gun.
I've been dying to see you, you know. I really hope you've gotten a lot better since last time. It'd be a shame if you didn't last long.
He didn't seem to be motivated by the same things as Kazuma and Kodo, but he didn't seem likely to let us pass without a fight either. I take it you don't mean to let us through. No, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. We do this the hard way then. Saito reached for his sword.
Saito, you take her and go on ahead. We'll deal with this chump. Sounds good to me.
Never did settle things last time.
What?
No, this man is a demon. He has a gun. The two of you can't. Harada and Nagakura were prodigiously skilled swordsmen, to be sure, but Kyo Shiranui had the speed and strength of a demon and the skill to match.
Whoa, what is this? You don't trust us? Come on, man. How many battles have we been in together? That's cold.
It's not that I don't trust you, you just don't know what you're talking about.
So, I'm fighting against you two. Look, I don't really care, alright? Just make up your minds. They didn't tell me I had to deal with all of you.
See, our demon doesn't mind. Now, get out of here, Saito. We'll finish him off and catch up with you later. You probably won't even notice we're gone. Saito looked from one of them to the other, his mouth drawn into a hard line. Keep your promise, guys. Fine. I'll leave this one to you. I expect you to be finished soon, understood? He actually looks really stern about that.
Yeah, we know. Don't you die either, alright?
Saito turned and began to run. I scrambled to catch up. Do you really think they'll be okay? Neither Nagakura or Harada had drunk the water of life. They were both still only human. To try and fight a skilled demon with only a human body... Well, at least it's not Kazuma. They don't make promises they can't keep. They'll catch up. You needn't worry. There was confidence in his voice. He believed in Harada and Nagakura. I tried desperately to feel assured. The castle interior was suspiciously quiet. Even though they were under siege, everything was completely silent. If what the Fury had told us earlier was true, then the castle should have been full of Aizu's soldiers and Furies. Instead, there was nothing. Why is it so quiet? Didn't Harada say this was the Fury's new headquarters? Either they're situated farther in, or they're about to ambush us? Before Saito could finish, doors on either side of the hall slid open, and 2 waves of furies poured through them, screaming wordlessly. And it's just us two? Suddenly, Saito's hair was white, and a sword whipped out of its scabbard in a flash of silver. Fury screamed and fell dead. The hall was a narrow one, which made it difficult to fight properly, but Saito had spent years fighting in the streets, alleys, and merchant houses of Kyoto. He was accustomed to tight quarters. He's fought probably just about everywhere. He's probably used to fighting in any way, in any circumstance. The lack of space worked against the Furies as well, and with his Fury strength, it was Saito's skill that tipped the scales. It took him only seconds to kill every single one of them. But how's he doing now?
Well done. I didn't think you'd be able to destroy my new Fury so easily.
I knew that voice. You know every voice, Chizuru. You don't have to say that every time.
Ah, it's been too long. We last met in Kofu, I believe.
The man I'd called my father stepped out of the shadows. The same mad smile I'd seen in Edo and Kofu twisted his face into something alien and horrible.
Thank you for doing the trouble of bringing me my daughter. You've saved me a great deal of time.
She isn't here to be handed over to you.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter if you hand her over, or if we simply take her. I get what I want in either case. More importantly, however, you seem to be enjoying the water of life. Tell me, how many times have you turned into a Fury? Once? Twice? Many times? How often have you used your inhuman strength and healing?
I have no reason to answer your question.
Oh no, of course not. I only asked because there was one thing I neglected to mention in our last meeting. Do you know the source of a Fury's power?
Saito said nothing, but Kodo didn't seem to care.
It comes from you. Or perhaps, your future might be a better way of putting it. You are borrowing the accumulated strength and healing, and so on, that you would have used throughout your entire life, and spending it in vast quantities. Every time you become a Fury, your life gets much, much shorter.
And he's been using it an awful lot. What? If what he said was true, all the times that Saito had become a Fury were... Saito frowned slightly. I see. That would explain the strange way in which the Fury being interrogated died. The man had left nothing behind except white ash. Had he used up all the energy of his life and simply burned out? Then that meant someday Saito would...
So racked with despair that you can't even speak? How many times have you turned into a Fury? Every time you use that power, you bring your own death that much closer. Are you miserable? Devastated? Why, I imagine you've entirely lost your will to fight.
Oh, you imagine incorrectly. You can't dampen this warrior spirit. His laughter grew more and more maniacal, echoing up and down the hall until... What makes you think that's gonna get us all upset? That voice behind me was familiar. Again. Heisuke, what are you doing here? Hijikata told me to go back. He said he didn't need me around if my heart wasn't there too. He gave me a laugh, then turned to glare at Kodo. You're saying every time we get strong or heal quick or whatever, we're just shortening our lives? So what? Yeah, they all pretty much know that they can die at any moment in a battle anyway, and they're always prepared for that. Back in Kyoto, we spent every day not knowing if we'd even see the next one. On the nights before it was my turn to take point on the rounds, a lot of the time I couldn't even sleep. I knew there was a good chance I'd get chopped up by some punk the next day. So, you really think a guy who's lived through that is gonna piss himself just because you tell him his life might be a little shorter? Am I right, Hajime? Saito grinned. Yes, you are. After the crucible of Shinsengumi life in Kyoto, there was very little that could frighten or intimidate a man like Saito. The life you get is the hand you're dealt. You just play the hand as best you can, and hope you win the jackpot. I can't imagine living any other way. Heisuke's hair turned white, and he leapt toward Kodo, his blade out. Blood splattered on the floor, but Kodo's wound had already begun to close by the time the last drop fell. I'll take care of this guy, Hajime. You go on ahead. Ahead to what? Isn't Kodo our goal? What else is there to do here? As soon as I finish him off, I'll catch up. Alright, Time for a little demon hunting, I think. He turned his head over his shoulder and grinned at us. Very well, I'll be waiting for you. Saito nodded back, and I could see the bond of trust between them. We climbed a set of stairs to find ourselves in a massive hall. It would have been a busy, noisy place when filled. On the dais at the far end of the room, where the lord of the castle would have sat, were 2 men. They were the only other people there, and yet their presence filled the space entirely. Oh, don't tell me it's Kazuma and Amagiri. It makes no sense why they would be here. Why?
Why did you bring her?
I saw rage flicker across Amagiri's face the moment he saw me. Kazuma, on the other hand, stood, a horrific smile twisting his mouth. Oh, Amagiri's so sweet to be caring about all this, not wanting me to have to fall to Kazuma's machinations, whatever.
Isn't that obvious? She is a gift.
Yeah, Saito came all the way here to give you a gift. It's a peace offering.
How long has it been? There were so many of you Shinsengumi back then, a force to be reckoned with. Not many of you left now, though.
Saito did nothing.
Well, you've done a good job. Now, return my wife to me. I didn't bring her here to hand her over to you. I see. Then why is she here, then? I intend to defeat you and protect her. She is here because I know I can do both of those things.
Kazuma roared with sudden laughter.
Oh, how rich. You're going to defeat me and protect her. Have you already forgotten about Tobo Fushimi? You couldn't even touch me. Even after you drank the water of life and put up a decent fight, you only lived because I showed you compassion. I made the best choice I could under the circumstances. I have no regrets. I have always made the choices that were right for me. I believe that I will continue to do so.
His voice was firm, confident.
Choices, please. All you've ever done or will do is follow orders. You are nothing more than a puppet. Who ordered you to protect this woman, the Shinsengumi? Or perhaps the Aizu this time? That might have been true once.
Saito's eyes flickered with blue fire.
But now, I follow no one's orders but my own. I choose to protect her. I choose to defeat you.
In the blink of an eye, his hair turned white.
Interesting. Let's see how determined you are, then. Stay out of this, Amagiri.
He frowned at Kazuma and at us, then walked over to the nearest wall. A tiny sliver of silver appeared at the top of Saito's scabbard as he loosened his sword. Then in a flash, he leapt forward, his blade roaring towards Kazuma. He caught Saito's attack on his own sword with a clang of steel, but Saito clearly had the upper hand in strength. What, really? That's surprising. Their swords shook and rattled as Kazuma tried desperately to throw him off, but it was Saito who shoved Kazuma back and immediately pressed forward with a second strike. Kazuma rushed to intercept Saito's attack, but he was too slow. Their blades collided, and Kazuma's went spinning out of his grip to clatter across the floor. He stood there for a moment, looking down at his suddenly empty hands in disbelief.
I lost? This pathetic fake disarmed me? Me? No, this is impossible.
He scrambled across the floor, reaching for his sword. Oh, I don't really want Kazuma to get killed, even if he's the bad guy in this route. Saito's sword sunk into Kazuma's outstretched hand, pinning it down. Okay, that wasn't a death strike.
Damn you.
His teeth ground, and angry throbbing veins stood out from his neck. Dark blood pooled beneath the skewered hand. With a vicious snarl, Kazuma grabbed hold of Saito's sword and jerked his hand free. Only a few drops escaped before the wound closed itself.
You filthy, worthless trash. How dare you spill my noble blood?
His face was contorted with unmitigated rage, and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he screamed.
I will never forgive you. That is not enough for you. I'll carve your body into 1,000 pieces of quivering meat. Not even your mother will be able to recognize your disgusting corpse.
Then suddenly he transformed. His eyes turned gold, and his hair was as white as a fury's.
This is the first time a human has ever seen my true form. Consider it an honor, you disgusting pig.
The anger that had consumed him only moments earlier had disappeared, replaced by an almost eerie calm. Saito launched himself toward Kazuma again, his sword slicing soundlessly through the air, but...
What?
Saito's sword met only air. Kazuma had vanished. No, he hadn't vanished, only moved faster than the eye could follow. Oh, crap. If he could move that quickly, then... I saw a glint of silver. He retrieved his sword. Blood erupted from Saito's chest. For a moment, I didn't understand what had happened. I hadn't even seen Kazuma strike, and yet now a wound gaped across Saito's chest, and blood was pouring out of it. He coughed, and more blood splattered onto the floor. His fiery blood would heal the wound quickly, but before it even had a chance, a second appeared, and a third.
Pathetic. What happened to all your bravado? Where is all that strength you gained from the water of life? If you don't start dodging soon, you'll die from blood loss, you worthless insect.
Even as a fury, Saito was no match for Kazuma. His blood painted the floor a dark, horrible red. It was so gruesome I couldn't bear to look. He had already lost so much blood, he could barely stand. He dug his sword into the floor and used it to haul himself up to his feet, gore staining his clothes.
What's wrong, Fake? Can't bring yourself to stand any longer.
He grabbed a fistful of Saito's blood-drenched hair and twisted his head back.
What the hell was all that you were saying a moment ago? How you would protect her and defeat me? Did I hear you wrong? Because you sounded so confident, and yet all you've given me is this. What happened to all that fiery determination?
Saito's breathing was a sickening gurgle, but the light in his eyes was undimmed, and he glared back at Kazuma.
Well, I'm a generous man. If you apologize to me, then I'll spare your life. Let's see. Ah, yes. If you bow down before me, press your face to the floor and apologize for being so rude. What's that? I'm afraid I can't hear you. I only follow my own orders. I cannot do something that my heart does not tell me is right.
The throbbing vein returned to Kazuma's neck. With an animal snarl, he slammed Saito's face into the floor.
You can't do anything your heart doesn't tell you is right. How dare you speak to me like that? You disgusting piece of crap. No, lower than that.
He snarled with rage as he ground Saito's face into the floor.
The way bow down before the strong. A worthless human doesn't get to tell me no.
No! Stop! I couldn't just stand there. I had to do something. My hands were fumbling to draw my sword when... I hadn't even noticed Amagiri move, but suddenly Kazuma was reeling from his punch. Why? Oh, Amagiri, I love you!
To pursue a vendetta is one thing. To honor a worthy opponent, a warrior, is another entirely. It is not merely skill and strength which makes demons superior to mortal men. You disappoint me.
He turned and shouted at Saito.
Stand, Saito. Take your sword. Your wounds must have healed enough by now.
Slowly, Saito staggered to his feet. I saw a shadow rise behind Amagiri.
Damn you, Amagiri. I won't forgive you for this. You will die with this human scum, bastard.
Amagiri crumpled to the floor and didn't speak again. Please don't tell me he's dead. How could you? That's horrible. He was your friend. Kazuma didn't even seem to hear me. There was something strange about him. His usual eloquence was gone, replaced by a cold, deadly silence. He looked almost like a ghost. Those cruel golden eyes slowly rose from Amagiri's body to fix on Saito. Saito!
Stand back, Chizuru.
His voice was strained. I wanted to help, but I knew all too well that there was nothing I could do. Had I tried, I would only have gotten in the way. If only I had been more skilled. They glared at one another, hands already on their swords. Saito's strongest attack was to hit with his Iai strike as he drew the sword from its scabbard, but his timing had to be perfect. The emotionless mask that had covered Kazuma's face as he struck down on Magiri suddenly broke into a twisted grin. He slipped to the side, dodging a strike from Kazuma that moved so fast I saw only a flicker of silver. Apparently, the demon had expected his blow to be evaded, however, as he immediately countered with a second swing that threw Saito back. Saito! The force of the attack threw him against the wall of the room, and I saw him gasp to catch his breath. But Kazuma wasn't about to let him get back on his feet.
Damn it, there aren't any openings.
Whenever he tried to attack, Kazuma anticipated his intent and struck first. Saito's style revolved around a single decisive blow, not lengthy fencing matches. It was well suited to assassination, but a drawn-out battle was less than ideal. I was under the impression that he was suited to a number of different fighting styles and settings. I laid my hand on my own sword. Even a fraction of a second would be enough. I didn't even have to hurt him, just give Saito the opening he needed. Well, as long as Kazuma doesn't strike your heart, you might be okay. My body tensed, ready to leap forward.
What the hell is this? We don't go out on patrol for a couple months, and you already forget how we do things, Saito. I seem to recall we had a rule about watching each other's asses in a fight. Something like, Never go up against somebody one-on-one.
You're here! Their own fights must have been difficult. Each of them was covered in sweat, dust, and blood.
Sorry for being a little late. This guy's the big boss, huh? Let's get this over with and finish him off. I need a drink.
Yeah. Mind if I go first? Didn't think so. Didn't even bother to wait for an answer. With a grin, Heisuke charged off toward Kazuma.
Damn you.
He'd scarcely taken a step when Nagakura followed suit.
This reminds me of the good old days back in Kyoto.
Nagakura's sword buried itself in Kazuma's back.
Damn it.
He twisted to swing at Nagakura, but...
First time I've done this to a demon, though. I'm not sure if it'll work.
Harada's spear slammed into Kazuma's chest over his heart.
Alright, Saito, take him out. Show us just how badass that armor of yours is. Of course.
He laid his hand on the hilt of his sword and stepped toward Kazuma. I felt my chest tighten. There was a long moment of silence, and then I heard the telltale clink of Saito's sword leaving the scabbard. Ah, that's cool again. I never even saw the blade move. A red line simply appeared across Kazuma, and then Saito's sword was back in its sheath, a perfect strike. Time slowed to a crawl, and I felt my stomach rise into my throat. Oh, I feel kind of bad for Kazuma, even though he was much worse in this route than any others. Kazuma roared in fury and agony, louder than I'd ever heard anyone scream. Then he slumped to the floor, motionless.
Did you really do it?
He sank to his knees, whatever energy he'd saved for this last strike apparently expended. His sword in hand, Saito carefully approached Kazuma. The demon's hair and eyes had returned to their normal color. Before Saito reached him, however, Amagiri was at Kazuma's side. Ah, thank goodness he's still alive. He bent down stiffly to check for a pulse. After a silent moment, he stood and shook his head.
Impressive, Saito. You have improved.
Saito nodded.
And there is something I must tell you. And that is, Kodo's experiments made use of the water in the region. We hope to delete the poisonous nature of the water of life and extend the Fury lifespan. Apparently, the water here has the power to do that.
Ah, is this, the Yukimura hometown?
If you remain here, then perhaps you can delay your demise. You will likely remain a Fury, but you will have your life. Why would you tell me this?
Amagiri smiled.
Because you are a true warrior. It would be too much of a waste to let the Fury poison take you. This war will continue, perhaps to the northeast, or perhaps even further north than that. Wherever it continues, much blood will be shed. Many in the Satsumo domain will not be satisfied until they have taken revenge for the wrongs visited on them after Sekigahara and wiped out all the remnants of the Tokugawa. But that is only the latest turn of the wheel of war. In 100 years, or perhaps 200, the Aizu will seek similar revenge for similar reasons, which strikes me as sad, or perhaps they will not. Only time will tell. I would like to ask you this. What might you do to see that such a future war never comes to pass? What must you do so that your countrymen do not come to hate and despise one another? The greatest service a warrior can render is to see that his skills are never called upon.
He smiled one last time, inclined his head toward us in what might have been a bow, then turned and left. After a short rest, we headed deeper into the castle, and found and freed Aizu soldiers who had been captured when the castle was taken. By the time we had finished, the sun was rising, and as we stood in the brilliant rays of light, I thought that I had never before been so happy to see morning break.
Damn, it's bright out here. Well, now that we're done taking care of those demons, it's back to the wars of men, huh?
Maybe, but what he said really got me thinking. What can we do to keep wars from happening? Shouldn't Heisuke stay here too, since he's a Fury and he kinda needs the water to live a little longer too? Well, whatever it is, I don't think that shriveling little thing you call a brain is going to figure it out. Just give it up. Oh, you're so mean! Hey man, knock that off. I'm a warrior too, so it's my job to figure out how to make sure there aren't any more wars.
No more wars, huh? Well, I guess the only way to do that is to get really strong, right? If you're a big enough badass, everybody will be like, damn, better not start crap with him. That'd be a bad idea. So nobody starts fights, and that means no wars.
No, actually, then the people are like, I just gotta get as badass as him so I can beat him. That's my goal in life. Man, that is so like you, Shin. The world's not that simple. Yeah. He's actually smarter than you.
Simple? I'll show you simple, you little bastard.
He wrapped his arm around Heisuke's neck and proceeded to grind his fist into the younger man's head. Well, this war's already started. The best we can do now is see how it turns out. You're right. Okay, time for me to get out of here. I need to get back to Hijikata. You're better off staying with us where you can dilute the water of life with the pure waters here. Or at least come back after you talk to Hijikata. I don't really know how much fight I got in me, but hell, I've come this far, might as well see it through to the end.
Seems fair to me. Just be careful, alright? If you die like a chump, we're gonna have wars in the next life. You got me?
Take care, Heisuke. Will do. See you later, guys. He waved one last goodbye, then disappeared down the road. I guess we should be on our way too. Gotta go get ready for the next battle.
Right. Man, I never thought I'd see Saito and Hijikata split up. You were practically a shadow.
We didn't fight if that's what you're suggesting. We both agreed this was best.
Whoa, whoa! You wouldn't be implying anything about a couple of other guys who left, would you?
He elbowed Saito playfully and grinned.
Seriously though, good for you. You were all confused about it back when we left, but I guess there's a lord out there you want to serve?
Well, not a lord, but a lady. Oh, I don't think it's just a lord he's looking to serve. Harada grinned at Saito. We got him blushing. Oh, Saito is the cutest blusher in here. Because it's so rare. What do you mean by that?
Whoa, whoa! Are you blushing? What the hell is this? Where's the real Saito?
Saito laid his hand on the hilt of his sword.
Hey, calm down, man. It doesn't look like a joke when you do it. You just about scared the pants off me. Okay, I know goodbyes are tough, but it's really probably time we head out. Yeah. We do still need to figure out how to stop the war from breaking out in the future, but... For now, I figure we better finish this one, huh? Can't really call yourself a man if you don't fight when you have to, right? Take care, you two. If we live through this, let's go grab a drink sometime. Yeah.
Be careful, you guys. Bye. It would have been a lie to say I wasn't going to miss them, but we all had our own paths to take, and theirs was simply taking them away from me for now. So I put on a smile and waved goodbye, hoping that someday those paths might cross ours once again. Final chapter! And we're going to say that for the next video. It's 3 o'clock in the morning once again, which is usually my limit, so I got to get to bed. So, hope to see you in that next video for the next ending, which seems like it's going to be a good ending. It seems like things have been going good. So I guess the third ending is going to be a bad ending. Because somehow I don't think Saito's going to have 2 good endings. Alright, well, hope to see you there, or in some of my other videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. They're really signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.